Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I'm talking about HEX by Thomas Olde Heuvelt. Don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It's not telling me on the back. It should tell me here somewhere. Tell me. Nope. Well, English translation, copyright by Nancy Forrest Flyer. So I assume she's the translator. It's translated into English by Nancy Forrest Flyer, and this is from Tor Nightfire. So HEX. The town of Black Spring has a witch problem. That is your nutshell. For the too long didn't watch, folks, 6 out of 5 stars. Absolutely love this. It is so good. It breaks the laws of numbers, mathematics. 6 out of 5. This book blew me away. There you go. If that's all you care about, you don't have to watch the rest of the video. I wish you would, but you don't have to. All right. So, this book is translated from Dutch, and I absolutely love that cover. Let's point that out. This is part of my book bundle where I'm reading 5 books translated into English. This is the second book. So as I said, Black Spring, little town in New York. They have a witch problem. Now I'm going to say, when I bought this book, or when I ordered it from Amazon, or wherever I picked it up from, I read the inside cover and didn't read it again. And something in my brain told me that in this town, this witch that's in this town was anti-technology. And so the younger generation in this town was going to be causing problems because, they want to use technology. That is completely incorrect. When I started reading, I'm going along, and then as soon as the first iPad came out, casually, I was like, what the hell's going on? I thought people couldn't use technology. No, I completely misremembered what it said. So, just thought I'd throw that out there. We're introduced to the town of Black Spring. We're introduced to Catherine Van Wyler. She is the witch. She's been dead for hundreds and hundreds of years. So in this town, everybody knows about Catherine Van Wyler. She just pops up here and there in the town, mostly randomly, although there are certain patterns that she follows. I don't remember specifically, so I'm just making this part up, but let's say every Wednesday at 2 o'clock, she will walk through the town following the same route. Always comes out of the woods at exactly 2:03 and 15 seconds, follows the exact same path at the exact same time marks until she walks off into the woods or stops somewhere and maybe stands there for 3 hours. But aside from these things, she may just randomly pop up in someone's basement or their kitchen or their backyard, wherever. And she might be there for a short time. She could be there for hours, could be there for days. Unless it's Wednesday at 2 o'clock. She's got to walk through the town. And everybody in town knows about this, and they just live their lives with this thing going on. Until things happen. I don't want to give anything away, but we're introduced to this world, and for the first few chapters or so, I'm like, okay, I understand there's a witch, but what the hell is going on? Eventually, and it doesn't take too long, things are explained to us, and HEX itself is this organization within the town that's responsible for maintaining the status quo, essentially. Nobody from out of town can know about what's going on in town. And I think it says in the copy, The elders of Black Spring have virtually quarantined the town by using high-tech surveillance to prevent their curse from spreading. Frustrated with being kept in lockdown, the town's teenagers decide to break their strict regulations, and I'm going to stop there. But it's not quite a quarantine. People from out of town can come into town. People from in town could go out of town, but they can't tell anybody. And they go through great pains, even when people are visiting, to keep everything under wraps. There are surveillance cameras everywhere in the town, and there's actually, it's like a bunker type of situation with all the monitors showing all the security cameras, and there's a crack team of people to deal with any potential problems. This is all very early in the book, not really giving anything away. But certain things start to happen. As it says, the teens are starting to chafe under these restrictions, and there are some philosophical differences on how to deal with what's going on in the town. And this leads to a chain of events that freaking blew my mind. So this book, incredibly well written, with wonderful characters. Grimm is his last name. I don't remember his first name, but he's essentially the guy in charge of HEX. Loved his character. Our main character is Steve Grant, which always throws me off because, one, I just want to my brain automatically says Stephen Grant, because that's one of Moon Knight's personalities, and it is a name I have used in the past. I think I've shared it before. Maybe I'll share it again someday. Not going to get into it now. But he's Steve Grant, but my brain always just automatically made it Stephen Grant. But like his character, his family, other characters were introduced to, there are some really great characters, like good, enjoyable characters. And then there's the shitty characters, but well-written, entertaining, shitty characters. Just amazing writing all around. And this book, the surprises, the things that go on in this book, and I'm not talking about like, ooh, plot twist kind of things, just where the story goes. Unexpected directions, heart-wrenching directions, haunting, horrific directions. As I said earlier, it all just blew my mind. I got to the end of this book. I was stunned. I knew it was going to be 6 out of 5. No question. It's going to take... It's only January 18th right now. So there's a lot of days left in the year. But it's going to take something extremely special to knock this off already. My favorite book that I read in 2025. That's how much I loved this freaking book. Now, in the acknowledgments are kind of like an afterword, because the author talks about the genesis of this story and the fact that this is kind of HEX 2.0, as he puts it. So he wrote HEX in his home country, and it is set in his home country. I believe it's his home country, his personal home country. It's in Dutch. And when the foreign language rights were sold, because it's not like I didn't like the Dutch setting. I loved the Dutch setting. I loved the utter Dutchness of the book. But when appeared in the Netherlands and Belgium in 2013, set in a small Dutch village, and ending on a rather different note. When the foreign language rights were sold, he essentially rewrote the entire thing, my understanding of it, and set it in New York, changed the names, made them American names and everything. And where's the important part? Suddenly presented with the opportunity to make the original book work in a wholly new environment with a fresh backstory. Blah, 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 blah. There's something, HEX 2.0, if you will. The last several chapters, from the moment things pretty much start going downhill for Black Spring, are all new. I wrote them in English, and I had a blast while I was at it. In my opinion, it's become a better book. So that's what he says. And he also says he rewrote it, except for that part, in Dutch. It was translated into English, and then he read the English translation and did his own editing and such. Working on the book that's not in a language that's not my mother tongue gave me strong new insights into the plot. What does he say? English. I speak several languages, English almost as fluently as Dutch. That allowed me to not only read but also edit Nancy Forrest Flyer's fantastic translation of the book and find my own voice in English. So, a lot of things going on with this translation, especially that part about the ending being different. So, my plea is to anybody who has read the original Dutch version or knows anybody who has read the original Dutch version, tell me what the ending is in the original Dutch version. And he does say, I hear you wondering, how did the Dutch version end? I'm not going to tell. Bribe a Dutch person. Maybe they will. So I'm fascinated. I would love to know how the Dutch version ends. I love the ending of this book. But I'm just curious, very, very curious about how the Dutch version ends. So, to wrap this all up, fantastic writing, fantastic characters, fantastic story. And 6 out of 5. It blew me away. It's one of the best books I've read in a very, very long time. At least one of the most impactful books. I have his 2 other books from Tor Nightfire, Echo and Oracle. I believe those are the 2. And now I'm just champing at the bit to read those, but I'm going to put it off. I only have 2 of them. I only have 2 other books by this guy. And I got to make it last until he has something else come out in English. So it'll be a little while before I jump on those. But man, I'm looking forward to it. See if he can match the magic, no pun intended, of HEX. Thomas Olde Heuvelt. Tor Nightfire. 6 out of 5 stars. Just an amazing book. And that's my review of HEX. So, I don't have any book recommendations to go with this. My question is, and again, at this point, I can't remember what I've asked. What is a book that absolutely just blew you away? Blew the doors off your expectations? Blew your mind? Whatever. You know what I'm saying. What's a book that did that? For me, well, obviously, HEX. Man, I know there's a few other things that I've given 6 out of 5. I want to say the S.A. Cosby book. I can't see the title from here, and I don't remember off the top of my head. Let's do some phone looking. It's not Razorblade Tears because I haven't read that one yet. It's the other one. I want to say Blacktop Wasteland. But no, I don't think I gave Blacktop Wasteland. I think it was the other one. Ooh, there's another one. All the Sinners Bleed. I think it was All the Sinners Bleed that I gave 6 out of 5. I had read Blacktop Wasteland. Right? and I loved that. But All the Sinners Bleed, just amazing. Again, I know there are other books that I've given 6 out of 10 to, but I can't think of what they are off the top of my head. But there are books that have just stunned me with how well written they are, the story that they've told. Everything just came together in such a perfect way that it was a almost spiritual reading experience. So, what about you? Have you ever had this happen? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, I'll have links for my Instagram and Bluesky in the description below. And that's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith. So until next time, read more books.